we are at the LeWeb, and next to me is sitting some, quite different VC. It's David Hornik. Tell me your illustrated story. How did you become a VC?
Well, I got kind of lucky. Is the reality. I started out as a musician and a computer scientist. I then became a lawyer and was representing companies, which was perfectly fine, but didn't really engage me. And then I started representing startups, and it was completely addictive. Getting involved in startups and trying to help form their business and help them succeed. And I was out in Silicon Valley in California, and had the opportunity to work with really small companies and see them get bigger and see them engage users, and so I was involved more and more with their businesses and got to know a number of investors over time, and at one point met a couple of investors from the firm that I'm now with called August Capital, and they got to know me and thought, gee, for a lawyer you talk too much, but as an investor you might be okay. So maybe you should consider coming to our side of the table. And that was almost 9 years ago. So that seems to have worked out. I'm certainly grateful, because it was nice to stop being a lawyer and start working full time with companies.
Yeah, but you have an education or a degree in what was it? Music, digital music? No, what was it?
Yeah, so I have a bachelor's degree in computer music, an MPhil in criminology, and then a law degree. So okay. I don't know if any of them.
How are you normal, or what's wrong with you that you did so many different things?
Yeah, no, just do you know the term ADD, attention deficit disorder?
Okay.
I couldn't focus, but no, I've figured out what I love, and that's startups, and couldn't be happier.
No, but don't you think that it is also some sort of important competency that you are interested in so many different fields?
Yeah, I think actually if you talk to successful venture investors, a lot of them are generalists. They like company building, they like technology, very much engaged in team building and finding the right sets of people, but the specific technology or the particulars of the business are not as important as all of those components coming together. So, since I have no particular expertise, I get to be eclectic, and I do think that's been valuable. I mean, I've funded a blogging company, a payroll company, a company that does price optimization for big banks, a company that does gaming, another company that...
Give us some names. Which companies are you invested in?
Sure. In the blogging space, a company called 6apart, which is powers millions of eyeballs worth of blogs across the world. We seed funded Technorati. I funded a company called Video8, which is a rich media ad platform. In the U.S., I funded a small business payroll company called PayCycle that now has about 80,000 small businesses doing payroll on the payroll solution. A really interesting but very nerdy kind of nitty-gritty company called Splunk, which is this search engine that lives in your data center and helps you do system debugging and security and compliance and those sorts of things. So really broad set of companies, and I guess the theme across them, they're all software. I like to have software businesses that where they come out of the brains of smart people and manipulate computers. But very data-driven and built by really engaging, smart entrepreneurs.
Okay, so now we know some points about what you're looking if you find something interesting. Let's come to the recession. Well, you might have heard that question before, but tell me, what is your opinion? How will it hit the market, and how should startups deal with that?
Well, it's a tough time. There's no question. I think that it's the most significant economic downturn that we've felt in my lifetime. Certainly in my professional career. Although I joined the venture business in 2000, when we had a very powerful up economy, and then the bubble burst, and it got much tougher. And there were really interesting companies that were built in that tough period of time, because entrepreneurs that endure through really tough times and are able to make their businesses work despite the economy end up building big, valuable businesses. So I think that there are going to be a lot of little businesses that go out of business, that they can't raise more money and they stop. But I also think that there are going to be lots of interesting, or maybe not lots, maybe a core small set of very interesting businesses that are built in this challenging time that emerge as the next global leaders in technology. And our hope is that we'll find and fund a couple of those. And but we'll see. It's going to be tough.
So, what are the most interesting ideas for you?
Yeah, it's interesting. As a firm, we don't, the most interesting ideas are the ones that come tomorrow from really smart people, and we say, wow, we hadn't thought about that particular thing, but in light of everything we've seen before, that's very smart. We describe ourselves as systematically opportunistic. We don't look for, we're looking for mobile advertising, or we're looking for, widgets, or we look for smart teams that are developing interesting technology and then try and help them build big companies.
But next year you will continue to invest?
Yeah, absolutely. We're in fact raising a new fund now, and we've been, my firm and August Capital and the predecessor firm, which was called TVI, have been in the business now for 25 years, and pretty consistently invest in a company or two per partner per year, and try and build interesting businesses. It's always hard to build a startup, so this just makes it a little more challenging.
Okay, and if there's now somebody out there who thinks, yeah, come on, I want investment by that guy, how should he approach you?
Yeah, you can just email me.
But how will he get your attention?
Well, the best way to get a venture investor's attention is always to get introduced to them by someone they know, right? You can certainly email me. My email is available, Hornik@augustcap.com. You can email me, and you could even say, hey, I saw this video and you said X, and so I thought you might be interested. That's fine, and I'll read that email. But if you can get the attention of someone who I trust and convince them that what you're doing is building an interesting business, and they introduce you to me, the amount of attention you'll get from me is exponentially larger. So
give me some name of trustees of you, so that the people out there can.
That's right. Go find. I think, frankly, this is one of the great things about these social networks, right? It's not hard to find out who are my closest and trusted friends. If you just go to LinkedIn, you'll find all of them. If you go to Facebook, you'll find all of them. But more importantly, I think if you were to just do a Google search for David Hornik, you'd discover that I've been on lots of panels and had lots of conversations and work with lots of the same sets of people.
So you would also recommend to go to that kind of events and happenings to meet people like you?
Oh, absolutely. I think the only way you can. You have to be engaged in the community that are building interesting things, and you'll find the people that are that are interested in the sets of things you're doing, or are people who are interested in other people like you. I mean, I honestly think that business is a very personal thing, and that startups are built by groups of people who should take investment from people who they get along with and have a relationship with, and so all of these sorts of events help you to build those relationships, and that's important.
Okay, and with all your colorful experiences, backgrounds, like which kind of hint do you have for the people out there?
Oh, I think that was the hint, to tell you the truth. I mean, I think that everything we do is social, and I don't think that it is cynical, right? I don't think that this idea of networking is a cynical thing. I think that people are naturally inclined to have relationships and make friends and engage in business with people they like, and so relationships matter. And I think that you should not only go to places where you can build those relationships, but you should nurture the relationships with people that you like and feel are smart and valuable.
That's for relationships. But what about hints for startups in general for starting up?
Yeah, again, it's all the same thing, which is, right, find the right people, engage with the right, teams matter in startups, right? I'm much more likely to fund a team than I am a technology. And so, who you have join forces with to build a startup will mean a lot more than what it is that you're pursuing. So I think finding the right sets of people to build a company is incredibly valuable. And so how did you go about that? I mean, one of the things that I ask every time a business is sort of is pitching to me, and there are a couple of people in the room, is, okay, how'd you meet each other? It's an important question, right? Why are you two together? Oh, we had mutual friends, or we both worked at Google, or we both, whatever that relationship is important.
Mm-hmm. So listen to him, and if you have a great team, contact David, huh?
That's right. That'd be great. Thanks.
Thank you, David.